for the Denver Nuggets here at Ball Arena. They absolutely obliterated the LA Clippers. And yeah, like I mentioned, very weird start to this game, and I'm not talking about the basketball game itself. I'm talking about the pregame festivities. The section of the court I am sitting on, atop of section 136, Steve Ballmer bought 125 seats to try to recreate the wall here at Ball Arena. So there was a bunch of red. I mean, during shoot-around, before hardly anybody was in the building. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? They're chanting MVP at James Harden, which I don't know why, but Steve Ballmer paid to have a ton of Clippers fans come out here, and they were very loud early on in this basketball game. Let me tell you, I thought the Ball Arena crowd was excellent in responding to the Clippers. Every time they got an LAC chant going, it was drowned out by boos or beat LA from Nuggets fans here at Ball Arena. Don't get it mistaken. That was basically it for Clippers fans, was that section right there. Everybody else was cheering for the Denver Nuggets, and it was unbelievably loud and extremely electric here in Ball Arena. It was just a really cool – oh, something's going on in the Avs game. Okay, I'm not trying to do play-by-play here, but the crowd's reacting to everything going on. So the Nuggets and Clippers, the game itself, this was an awesome game for so many reasons. But my favorite part of this afternoon's game is that Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic actually didn't have like that great of games between the two of them, yet the Nuggets still absolutely dominated this basketball game. They ended up losing the first quarter. They were down 26-21 going into the second quarter, okay? So the Clippers kind of took it to them a little bit to start the first quarter. But from the start of the second quarter on, the Nuggets just ran the Clippers out of the gym. In fact, the runs this team went on tonight was outstanding. 7-0 run for Denver to start the second quarter. Ty Lue was forced to call a timeout. The non-Jokic minutes tonight in the first half, it was only a couple of minutes, but the Nuggets were +7 in the non-Nikola Jokic minutes tonight, which is outstanding. Joker ended up checking back into the game with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the second quarter, so very short rest for Nikola Jokic. But like I said, what was so weird about this game is the fact that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, they started the game shooting a combined 0 for 9 from the field with just 3 points, all from the free throw stripe, and Jamal's was a technical free throw. And then Joker makes a three with about 7.5 minutes to go in the second quarter to get either his or Jamal Murray's first field goal of the game. Jamal didn't get his first field goal until 3.5 minutes to go to halftime. So the wild part of this game was the fact that Joker and Jamal really didn't do a whole lot, especially in the first half, yet the Nuggets were dominant in that second quarter. Then we go to the third quarter, where the Nuggets pretty much dominated even more. I mean, they won both the second and the third quarter by 16 points. How about that? So in the second and third quarter combined, the Nuggets were a +32. They absolutely dominated the middle of this basketball game, while Nikola and Jamal were just sort of okay. But Aaron Gordon, I talked with him and with Raj and Coach Sanford and Brett about Aaron Gordon leading up to this game, and they said, other than Murray and Jokic, Dan, who needs to have a big game for the Nuggets? And I said, without question, it's Aaron Gordon. The reason I said that is because Aaron Gordon has shown that he showed this entire series the Clippers do not have an answer for him down in the low post. I mean, he just played bully ball with every single defender that the Clippers tried to throw at him in this series. That's exactly what he did again tonight. So credit to Aaron Gordon, because that was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he was everywhere in the low post. He had a couple of just really highlight reel dunks, a couple of sick alley-oops. One from Jamal, it was a reverse slam. This place just went absolutely wild. So it was really, really good to see that from Aaron Gordon. I thought he was absolutely electric tonight. And then Christian Brown, for as much as the Nuggets struggled in that first quarter, Christian Brown was their best player in that first quarter. In fact, he scored 9 of their 21 points in the first quarter, but it didn't stop there. I thought Christian was excellent all game long. His one-on-one defense, folks, on James Harden throughout this series, but specifically tonight, I thought was absolutely incredible. You could tell he really bothered James Harden. And, I said after Game 5, which at that point was James Harden's worst game of the series, I said I would be shocked if James Harden has another bad game like he did in Game 5 again in this series. Because typically throughout Harden's playoff career, he's good for one just atrocious game in the playoffs, and then he's either pretty good or he's elite. Well, tonight he was even worse than in Game 5. But honestly, I'm not even putting that on James Harden. That was because Christian Brown was all over him the entire game, the entire series, let's be honest. But specifically tonight, I thought Christian Brown, the job he did defensively on James Harden was phenomenal. I mean, he was matched up one-on-one with James throughout the course of this basketball game and just completely shut him down. So, James Harden, 2 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3, hit both of his free throws, 7 points. I mean, what a job by Christian Brown. All right, the Shot Mazda text line is wide open for you, 303-504-0925. We're going to hear from DMAC here in just a little bit. He's getting post-game press conferences downstairs as we speak, as we got an update. Oh, my goodness, Dallas tied it up. Okay, I did not even realize that. They've got the game on here at Ball Arena on the Jumbotron if you missed it. Nuggets fans, a lot of Nuggets fans have stayed and are just sitting in their seats watching the Avs and Stars in Game 7 there in Dallas. So we'll try to keep you updated on that as we continue with our Nuggets coverage, as the Nuggets, they're moving to round 2 no matter what. They'll play the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up on Monday night, so just one off day for the Nuggets. Somebody asked me on Twitter, why do the Nuggets only get one off day? Well, unfortunately for them, the Thunder have been off for like a week already. So the league wants to get this series rolling so that the Thunder don't have to have, 10 straight days off. But we will see. All right. Lock in your 4-game pick'em plan for the 2025-26 season starting at just $100. Choose your games and seats once the schedule drops in August. Save on fees and get 2025 playoff priority access. Secure your plan today and don't miss the biggest moments at Ball Arena. Visit nuggets.com/pick'em to purchase. When we come back, final thoughts on this game, final thoughts on this series, and what should we expect in round 2 between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's next.
Denver leads it by 29, 105 to 76. Across the timeline is Chris Dunn. He's at the point, throws it off inside the arc. Poked away to steal Westbrook again. Dog, two hands! And if I said it once, I'll say it again. This thing is still over. Denver leads it by 31. Timeout, or a technical foul on Westbrook for hanging on the rim. I don't care. Keep doing that.
Yeah, that was Jason Kosmiski on the call. That was one of the coolest moments of tonight's game here at Ball Arena. Russ purposefully gets a technical foul by hanging on the rim and yelling at the Steve Ballmer-led Clippers wall that he flew out here to Denver, Colorado and Ball Arena. But, the Nuggets were up massively at that point, and it didn't even matter. And by the way, the crowd here loved it. So cool for Russ. He didn't do that in a 6-point game. It was like a 30-point lead at that point. That was an awesome moment in this game. And it just, Russ, if I can read lips, was saying, get the bleep out of here, go home, all that kind of fun stuff. So really cool moment there from Russell Westbrook. Okay, so Nuggets win the series 4-3 over the Clippers. 120 to 101 was your final. Honestly, it wasn't even that close. Like I said, the Nuggets were plus 32 combined in quarters 2 and 3. They absolutely dominated the middle of this basketball game. The balanced scoring tonight was amazing. 22 from Gordon, 15 from MPJ, 16 from Joker, 16 from Jamal, and 21 from Christian Brown. That is balanced scoring. And then you get 9 from Peyton Watson off the bench and 16 from Russell Westbrook. With all of that being said, if the Nuggets can play team basketball like this, I really do think they have a chance against the Thunder. They were 2-2 in the regular season, 1-1 at home, 1-1 on the road. And there was a game earlier this year in the regular season. If you remember, it was a back-to-back in Oklahoma City. The Nuggets lost the first game and then just dominated the second game in Oklahoma City. So, I think the Nuggets have a chance in this series. I think of all of the Western Conference teams to match up with the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think the Nuggets have one of the best, if not the best matchup against the Thunder. So, and look, the Thunder are an extremely good basketball team. It's going to be an unbelievably tough task for the Nuggets. Make no mistake about it. But the Thunder are still pretty inexperienced. The Nuggets, on the other hand, are extremely experienced in these situations. So I do think that bodes well for the Denver Nuggets. All right, let's go down to the locker room, Jordan, and hear from Nikola Jokic. He talks about getting the win here at Ball Arena and what to expect coming up in OKC. Here is Nikola Jokic.
And finding the stop, finding the basket when we need. So I think that's the best description of this team, finding the way.
The 72-40 stretch between the second and third quarters, how would you describe it to the basketball?
Yeah, second and third, I think the defense was amazing. We rebounded and defense was amazing, and we had a lot of opportunity to run, and a lot of guys step up and a lot of guys made the baskets.
Yeah, how nice is it when so many people kind of help you and Jamal out and y'all don't have to do as much?
I mean, in playoffs, we know that everybody needs to step up. Is it offensively, is it defensively, whatever, energy-wise. In playoffs, everybody needs to step up, and everybody who plays needs to contribute somehow. And today, especially today, the guys did that.
Nikola, how rewarding, how good does it feel to come out on top with how close this series was?
Yes, this is probably the only game that, actually the third game, fourth game, when they beat us, was not maybe that much interesting, but it's a great series for us. We beat some great team, really talented team who played a lot, who played really well before, really good before playoffs. They won 10, how many? 12?
18 of 23.
8, yeah,
18 of 21.
something crazy, So they're really talented. They have a lot of good pieces. They have a great two players, and I'm just happy that in the end we won the game.
It felt like You guys had a 4-game losing streak, then the coach gets fired, and it kind of seems like you needed a jolt of energy. Do you think you found what you guys had a couple years ago?
I think the owner, like you said, maybe he wanted to change something, to change the energy, and probably he did. He got the result that what he was looking for.
Felt like Russ was just kind of an emotional barometer this whole series, especially at ball. Just how did you see him kind of harness the moment, especially tonight?
He was great. After that, when he missed the game, he had amazing 20-something points, and then today he had a lot of steals, a lot of fast break points. So he was really good. He's an emotional guy, and I think that energy drives him.
Nicole, the last time that you guys faced the Clippers in 2020, that was the last time that Kawhi finished a playoff run healthy. Just being as a competitor, what was it like to face him again for 7 games?
I mean, he's an amazing player. I already told, he's a very unique player. Sometimes you feel like he cannot miss. A really tough cover for all of our players, and I think we did some games we did a bad job, but I think most in global we kind of did a good job, just to make him see the bodies, see the hands, be handsy, being aggressive, being physical. But he still had a couple great games, But I think overall we did a good job.
Nicole, what do you think with Oklahoma City on deck now?
I mean, a team who is pushing the pace, team who plays a lot of energy, defensively, offensively, who is handsy, playing passing lanes, a lot of deflection, a lot of steals, attacking the glass. It's they're number 1 seed for a reason.
Obviously, it's probably the furthest thing from your mind, but it'll rekindle that debate everybody had about Shea and for MVP. Do you feel like that?
I think this is the last of both of our minds. Thank you.
What do you think of him as a player?
Very different player. He's playing on so many level speed and so many level scorer, and everything looks so easy for him. Even when you have that's a good defense, it feels so easy for him, and he's amazing with the change of speed, the change of rhythm, ball handling. He can post up guys, he can go by guys. Shooting the ball at mid-range is perfect, unguardable basically. So it's a very special player.
Nikola, how have you seen Christian improve just from last season?
In a playoffs or overall?
Or just overall?
I mean, winner. That we know that he is 50-50 players. The ball is always in his hands. All the dirty all the small plays that you don't guys see it. It's not in the stats. Being decision making much better. Shooting the ball decision, even I told him when he shot 1-7 against the Clippers, game 3-4. I don't know. I think he was shooting 1-for-7, and he was confident shooter. I said that's the best thing. Just keep shooting, because next one. And then he made a big one end of the half or end of the third quarter here. He made a buzzer beater end of it. So we believe in him. He made a lot of threes. I think he made a couple threes today too. So confident in shooting the ball.
How about his defense on Harden?
To be honest, that's AG and him. They wanted to do that. They wanted to pick them up. They wanted to be aggressive. And we are just there to back them up and help them in any possible way. He's aggressive. He's annoying, and and he knows what to do. And he accepts the role because he's a winner, like I said.
Are you able to enjoy this one, or you're already looking ahead too?
I think you need to enjoy it, and yes, you're looking forward, but you need to enjoy it. I think if you're not gonna enjoy it in this kind of victories or this kind of moments, why are you playing basketball?
Can it be an advantage that you guys have been playing this whole week and Oklahoma is going to get 8-9 days off?
I'm pretty sure that they're playing, and I'm pretty sure they're playing between each other. So that is to stay ready. They have a great coaching staff, and I'm pretty sure that they keep them in check.
One more question. Nicole, you said at one point during the year this was one of your best seasons, that you felt the best basketball you had been playing. What made you feel that way? Is it just the mentally, physically, everything coming together? Or?
Like I said, mentally, physically, just feeling-wise, numbers. That's about it.
Thanks, Nikola.
All right, those are the post-game locker room comments of Nikola Jokic in the Nuggets' 120-101 victory over the LA Clippers as they will face the Oklahoma City Thunder coming up in round 2. Like I said, the Nuggets actually, I thought, played the Thunder pretty well this year compared to the rest of the NBA. I mean, the Thunder won 67 games in the regular season, but they went 2-2 against the Denver Nuggets. Look, like I said, I think the biggest advantage the Nuggets have going into this series against the Oklahoma City Thunder is their experience in these situations. And I said last year when the Thunder, who got the number 1 seed last year also, I said at that point, they're just too young. They're too young and inexperienced to have a deep playoff run, and that turned out to be true. You know, it's the same thing I've said all season long with the Houston Rockets. I really like what Houston is building. I think Şengün is a phenomenal player. Jalen Green is an up-and-comer, but they're just too young. Now, I get it. They tied up their series with Golden State, and that series is going to a Game 7, so they're not out of it yet. But as far as teams with experience like the Denver Nuggets have and teams with inexperience like the Thunder have, it's a huge advantage. I don't care that Oklahoma City has home court. And, you know, if you look at the results today, the Nuggets do get the Game 7 win on their home floor. Avs just lost in Dallas, unfortunately, I hate to say. But in this series in particular, if the Nuggets can get one of the first 2 games, I think that bodes extremely well for this team. And, you know, the days off thing, I think that in sports like baseball, that does matter a lot. In basketball, as far as the Thunder having such an extended period of time off, I don't know how much that is going to affect them. Maybe it will a little bit just from, like I said, their inexperience. And, you know, the Nuggets only have 1 off day before they have to go to Oklahoma City. But I'm kind of in the boat of, man, they just had a dominant performance here at Ball Arena. If I'm the Nuggets, I'm almost loving this. Like, let's just keep it rolling. You know, they finally found their groove, and, you know, they just have 1 off day to rest, and then they're right back at this thing, whereas the Oklahoma City Thunder have been off for 8 or 9 days, whatever it is. So it's going to be an extremely tough series for Denver. Don't make any mistakes about it. But they have a chance in this series. I'm telling you, they do. Chet Holmgren is a really good player. I like Chet. But he's not even close to on the level of Nikola Jokic, okay? And if Jamal Murray can be playoff Jamal, he can go toe-to-toe with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He can. He has the ability to do that. And I know Shai is probably the best pure scorer in the game right now. But Jamal, when he's on fire and he's in that playoff mode, he's right up there with just the best pure shot makers in the NBA. So it's going to be a fascinating series. What's Michael Porter Jr.'s role going to look like in this series? You know, how is that shoulder going to hold up? That's a big question. And, you know, I've talked about this throughout this series. Michael Porter Jr., I mean, I give that dude so much credit for gutting through that shoulder sprain. I mean, if you heard him after Game 3, he literally said his shoulder was at 20 to 30%. He couldn't raise it above his head. Every time he's passing the ball, it's like just with one arm. I mean, the fact that he was able to be even somewhat effective in this series against the LA Clippers is quite astonishing, to be honest with you. So that was awesome to see from Michael. He's obviously had some off-the-court stuff, family, personal issues going on this season as well, to the point where he missed a game because of it. We don't know what it is, and I'm hoping for the best for MPJ and his family. But, man, the mental toughness that guy has displayed throughout this regular season, not even this regular season, just his entire career with, you know, family stuff going on off the floor, the back surgeries to begin his career. Then he has to have another back surgery. Now he's got a bum shoulder in the playoffs, and he is still out there grinding it out, producing for this team. that was awesome to see. So it will be fascinating to see like kind of how that shoulder holds up through another rigorous series against a very good basketball team. But like I said, I really do think the Nuggets have a puncher's chance coming up in this series. There's no doubt about it. All right, Altitude Sports Radio 92.5 is your home for everything Nuggets as we continue to follow this exciting playoff run. Tune in Monday morning for all of the exciting reaction, and stay tuned for ticket giveaways for the Western Conference semis against Oklahoma City. So on Monday, make sure to be tuning in all day for exciting reaction, and stay tuned for ticket giveaways for this series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, we'll hit one final timeout, come back, and give you I'll give you my final thoughts. We'll see if DMAC's able to saunter his way up here, and we'll look forward and look ahead to the Nuggets and Thunder. That's coming up on Monday in round 2 of the Western Conference playoffs. You're listening to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Yeah, the Nuggets get the win here at Ball Arena. 120-101 is your final in Game 7. The Nuggets advance to round 2. Honestly, 120-101 doesn't even do it justice. This game was an absolute beatdown by the Denver Nuggets here at Ball Arena, as DMAC is joining me up here at the top of Section 136. DMAC, the Nuggets dominated the middle of this basketball game. They were combined the second and third quarters plus 32 in those 2 quarters.
Yeah, amazing.
What a win here for the Nuggets. What was your favorite part of this Game 7 victory for Denver?
The alley-oop reverse 270 dunk by Aaron Gordon.
That was sick.
Was just it felt like the dagger. It blew the roof off the joint. That is as loud as I've heard a Nuggets game in my 26 years of being here. And to me, that was just like, we're and one mixtape tour Nuggets here. And that's what it was. David Adelman said something kind of interesting. He said, even though the buckets that Christian Brown got at the end of Game 6 didn't mean all that much to the end score, it was good. It put him in a flow and a rhythm that equated into this game as well. He also noted that they were focused and locked in from every moment from Game 6 up to here, and I absolutely do believe it. And you look at the balance of the scoring. Russell Westbrook said, "I'm a force of nature." He was laughing and joking about it. He goes, "I might make a 3, I might miss a 3, I might throw the ball out of bounds, I might do this, I might
Self-aware.
do that."
I'll give him that.
It was great. And Jokic and Murray stunk in the first quarter.
The first half, they were very good. And the fact that the Nuggets had the lead they did at halftime was shocking, considering the fact that Joker and Murray, DMAC, they started this game 0 for 9 combined shooting from the field.
Incredible. And Adelman did say he got a little nervous because the Clippers went on something like an 8-0 run. I thought that was a little silly putting Joker.
Was he talking about in the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that was a little skittish.
Well, Joker got taken out with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, because he got his 5th foul.
So to me, it was just like, hey, he's been sitting for a long, whatever. I mean, he even acknowledged Michael Malone in there, saying, yeah, it's
that is a Malone-style move for sure.
It's a Malone-style move. But the AG, I mean, everything about this game, the final score does not indicate what really happened.
This was a beatdown.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Absolute beatdown. Okay, so the Russ thing hanging on the rim, getting a technical on purpose.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have to admit it. It was obvious. He literally was doing the tech motion, like, give me one. First of all, it was just awesome. It was at an appropriate moment during the game. This thing was over when he did it, so no big deal there. And the best part, DMAC, not only did this place just go wild, but he was talking to the wall that Steve Ballmer flew in from Southern California.
How about that?
Ballmer flies in his own wall to Ball Arena to try to recreate it.
How did he buy that many tickets?
You know, I was talking to some brass here.
Okay.
And the guess is that they were purchased on the secondary market.
But, that many, that close altogether?
That is the part that doesn't make sense. Now, I'd really like to know what Steve Ballmer paid out for this.
Well, that doesn't even matter. The guy's,
it matters.
Well, all right, fine. But he's worth over $40 billion.
But I'm saying as far as, people being willing to sell their tickets, what did they get in exchange for that?
There should be some very guilty but wealthy Nuggets fans.
They'll dry their tears with hundreds.
So he might have been hunting the fans there, even if those tickets weren't for sale.
What else could it have been?
How would he have
right?
done that, though?
I
got to give him props.
I mean, he is a tech guy. He probably had some nerds scouting it out for him.
That is one. I mean, you got to give him credit for it. It was annoying, and it didn't make any kind of difference. But that was a heck of a move, man.
That's a baller move.
It
is.
It definitely is. And before the game, first of all, you saw them all go down there. And I saw Steve Ballmer go past them, and they all turned to him, and they're like, hey,
thanks for the cash, Steve.
Thanks for the tickets.
And the cash.
All right. Do you think they were Southern California people, or do you think he just paid people in Colorado.
That's a good question.
To wear the T-shirts.
Well, no, it was Southern California because the Clippers actually tweeted out a video of all of them on the plane.
Oh, okay. Oh,
wow. So he he paid for their flight too.
Flight, hotel tickets.
Yeah. So these were not locals that were paid to be here. They were flown in from Southern California.
Worked great when they were down 35 in the second half.
That was just amazing.
It was a cool move. By the way, Westbrook did say he kind of demurred a little bit that he did the hanging on the rim for the tee on purpose. He goes, I didn't want to fall down backwards. But he kind of stopped and laughed about it because it was obvious what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, he literally did the tee motion after he got off from hanging on the rim. So, whatever. It was an unbelievable moment. Like I said, it wasn't like it was a 10-point game. If it was a 10-point game, I'd be like, what are we doing here? But it was over, so no biggie.
Here's what was a weird sort of deal here, is this game was over in the third quarter. Your attention kind of quickly sort of said, okay, well, what's going on with the Avalanche? And they made an announcement, hey, stick around, we'll watch the game in here.
Really cool move.
Really cool move. And then we're in the media room waiting for Adelman. McKinnon just scored, we're up 2-0. And it was Mikko Rantanen scoring 3 unanswered goals in the third period. And a good group, a chunk of media and some Nuggets guys were watching the end of the Avs game inside of the Nuggets locker room. So, and it was a big, Peyton Watson was being interviewed when Mikko scored the go-ahead. Oh, I guess it wasn't, no, I'm sorry. It was 4-2. My bad. So Mikko had 3 goals, but it wasn't all him in a row.
Yeah.
Because he got an empty netter. But it was an interesting place to watch the Avs season. It was a weird dichotomy of emotion. Thrilled, pumped, excited, all get out for the Nuggets. And at the same time, the emotions of the devastating blowing a 2-goal lead in the third period with the Avs that we're watching inside of the Nuggets locker room is a memorable thing, and not a great thing, but a memorable thing for sure.
Well, and DMAC, when I started this postgame show, like right after they put the Avs on the Jumbotron and people stuck around to watch, they scored to go up 2-0. And I'm just sitting here euphoric.
You were doing the post-game show for all the Stars goals?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Oh, so you saw it all fall apart right while
you were doing
this show.
So I'm sitting here. They go up 2-0.
Wow.
I start my show. I'm like, this is awesome.
Right.
And then, I'm on the air, and I hear groans in the crowd, and I'm like, wait a minute. Uh-oh, it's 2-1. Uh-oh, it's 2-2. So you're right. The emotions of what just took place here at Ball Arena is so wild because it was euphoric right after the Nuggets win. People are chanting bleep LA. I mean, it was going crazy in here. 30 minutes later, you could hear a pin drop, and there were still thousands of fans here. It was a really weird scenario.
Well, my heart is broken for the Avalanche.
Oh, it's just a bummer. That should have been the Western Conference Finals, but you got to beat every team to win a cup anyways.
And Mikko scores a hat trick.
Yeah.
So are we having interesting conversations?
I mean, absolutely.
Are we?
Of course. I would ask you this, DMAC. So the interesting conversation is surrounding Jared Bednar. Let's just that's what this is.
Sure.
I will say, how do you justify keeping Jared Bednar, but also letting go of Michael Malone? That's the question I think that has to be answered.
That sounds like a talk radio question on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. If it's going to happen, it would happen relatively quickly. If there's going to be a change.
Was he the reason they lost this series, do you think, Jared Bednar? Like, what is it on him? Because I think it's really easy to just say after an emotional loss, "Oh, fire the coach." And sometimes it's right, but also, like, let's really dig into it and say, like, okay, what happened here? Was it Jared Bednar's fault? And if it was, then okay.
Well, I'm a gargantuan Jared Bednar fan, a huge Bedsy fan. Golly, man, you did have a 2-0 lead in the third period, Dan. You did. And, I mean, Michael Malone had a 20-point lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the fourth quarter in a Game 7 last year in the second round. And we know now that there were many ideas about moving on from Michael Malone and Calvin Booth during the season. There were some inconvenient wins, I guess, that helped keep him alive there. I don't know. I'm a gargantuan Bednar fan. golly, man, I don't know. I'm not sure what to say. I think the Avalanche, I guess Dallas is a better team. At the end of the day, they won a 7-game series.
That's how you determine who's the better team. No
guess,
doubt about it.
But it's painful. And now the Nuggets, boy, they don't have any rest. They're getting on a plane tomorrow. The first game against Oklahoma City.
I like it. I like
Do
it.
you really?
Yeah, they just had an awesome win in Game 7. They've got all the momentum.
They're not burned out. They're not injured.
No, this is a completely different scenario than we saw last year.
Yeah, that's fair.
This team, and it's weird because they're probably a little bit more injured this year with Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr., but I do think Jamal Murray's healthier at this point right now than he was at this point in the playoffs last year. So that is a positive. So speaking of this upcoming Thunder series, before the playoffs started, our very own Scott Hastings, when talking about the Thunder, he's confident about this matchup between the Nuggets and the Thunder. And I am as well, DMAC, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I think the biggest advantage that the Nuggets have going into this series is their experience.
Okay.
And the Thunder are a little experienced, okay? They are, but they're not as experienced as the Denver Nuggets. So I do think that's a massive advantage. I think they match up well with them. Chet Holmgren's not stopping Nikola Jokic. Zubats was a way tougher matchup for Nikola Jokic than Chet Holmgren is going to be. So I do think, and they went 2-2 against them in the regular season. I think they have a chance, but it's going to be a tough series. Don't make any mistakes about it.
David Adelman had a funny quote in the post game. He goes, yeah, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's kind of a jerk. Oh, why? He goes, well, I go, it's going to be tough if we play the Thunder. They're 68-14. And my buddy goes, no, they're not. He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, no, they're 72-14. Like, because they just swept their first round. And
I look at it as they're 4-0.
Okay, all right.
That's how I look at
let's
it.
Roll, baby.
They're
with you.
4-0. The Nuggets are 4-3. That's how I look at it.
I just have sad face because, well, we will have a game next Friday here in Ball Arena. Will be Game 3 of that series. So we're quiet.
Has the
here.
schedule come out yet?
It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I think. I think it goes like boom, boom, boom.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So no 2 days off in there, huh?
Not in the first. At least the first 3 games. You're gonna have to double check my math. It feels weird that they would go a weekend without having that game on Sunday, but I know for a fact it's going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So Friday would be Game 3 here at Ball Arena. So I assume that's out there. Are you looking right now?
Okay, so we've got, you're right. So they've got games
Sunday.
1 through 4, Monday, Wednesday in OKC, Friday, Sunday here at Ball Arena.
Sunday at 1:30.
1:30
our time. Yeah.
All right, we'll have some breakfast downstairs.
That'll be
awesome.
Good. Yeah. So we got games here on Friday and Sunday, and hey man, you never know. And the games are, well, I assume those are all East Coast. So we're doing 7:30 starts on Monday and Wednesday.
Yep.
And an 8 o'clock start here on Friday night here in Denver.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So first 2 games on TNT, Game 3 on ESPN. Game 4 on ABC. Listen, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be a very tough series for the Nuggets. I don't want to just downplay that. But
nobody will expect them to win, though. Nobody will have them winning.
No, Scott might, actually.
Well, all right, but
Scott
you know
might.
what I'm saying. Like
but I get it.
The pressure's on Oklahoma City.
Oh, absolutely. And that's one of the advantages I think the Nuggets have going into this. Not only is the pressure not on them, but they've got the experience, man. Like, I said this last year about Oklahoma City. When they won the 1 seed last year too, DMAC, I was like, they're too young. That's exactly how I feel about the Rockets this year. Like, they're a very good, young, and up-and-coming team. Yeah. They're just too young. Now, they're going to Game 7, and we'll see. But, I just think that the Nuggets' experience will show out in this series. I really do. So that's what gives me confidence.
I hope you're right.
And they have Nikola. And if you have Joker, you've always got a chance.
How about Nikola not really playing that great? And but Adelman pointed out he had defensive intensity that was unique tonight, and that he was kind of leaning on that when his shots really weren't falling. And then he didn't play a huge chunk of the fourth quarter anyway. So, but I mean, he wasn't. It was interesting. Ramona Shelburne from ESPN, who asked about Jokic. You know, she was sitting next to me in the pregame media. And she goes, Jokic just hasn't had like a big game, 40 or 50-point game. And Adelman was like, yeah, we got to screen. We got to get him open, whatever. And I go to Ramona. I go, hey, Ramona, Jokic has scored 50 or more points 4 times, and the Nuggets are 0-4. Interesting little stat for you. And I said, they're better if it's just more even. If he's got 40 points, they may lose. That's probably not a good thing.
DMAC, I've talked about this so many times on this show. The Denver Nuggets are at their best when Joker doesn't have to be their primary scorer.
Yeah, I'd love to see, like, Joker, like what he averages. You know, like 27, 13, and 10 would be like the perfect Joker.
If he can average that, 27, 13, and 10,
yeah,
throughout the series against the Thunder, I think the Nuggets have a really good shot
but
at
what
it.
was he tonight? 14, 10, and 8, something like that? I know he didn't have a triple-double. I don't think he did.
He did not. He was 16 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists.
16, 10, and 8. Okay.
But
look
he also only played 32 minutes.
Right, and look at double digits for everybody, basically.
Right, and you're getting 16 from Russ off the bench and 9 from Peyton Watson.
How funny is it that Russell Westbrook actually glossed himself a force of nature?
Well, hasn't Joker done that before, too? Or no, Joker said he's a freak of nature. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
That's when he was talking about dunking, and he was joking around.
Well, of course, but I would assume Russ was kind of joking around. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know.
Russell Westbrook after the game, either a purse or a lunchbox. I wasn't quite sure, but he had some sort of accessory up with him at the podium. The dude is a fashionista, man. The dude can dress. Hey, I tell you this, man. The crowd freaking loves him.
Yep.
He gets him going. His instincts defensively about where the ball's going to go for steals and that sort of thing. Oh, we didn't even mention. How about Russ rebounding his own missed free throw and getting a bucket? How about that moment?
Yeah, that was great. That was amazing. Put back layup. Okay, last thing, DMAC, before we get out of here. Christian Brown in this series started off really slow because the transition game just wasn't there really for either team. I would say through the first 4 or 5 games of this series. And Christian Brown, that's how he gets most of his buckets, is in transition. I thought the job he did offensively in the final 3 games, or final 2 games, and the job he did defensively tonight on James Harden was incredible.
What did Harden finish with?
He was 2 for 8 with 8 points, I think.
Wow.
He was 7 points. 2 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3. 7 points. And if, on our pregame show,
that's amazing.
I had said that in the past, James Harden, notably throughout his playoff career, typically has one just giant stinker of a game in each series. That was game 5. And I said, I don't think it's going to happen again. But the one-on-one defense we saw from Christian Brown today, and really throughout the series, but specifically tonight, was just unbelievable.
Well,
he was awesome.
Harden played 47 minutes in game 6. And if you watched him and his interviews and his reactions, he looked gassed, man. He looked like I give him credit for putting it all out there. But I was like, how is this guy at his age going to come back in such a short period of time? And the answer was, well, he's not. And he didn't. But that's compounded by how good Christian is defending him as well. It's a combo meal of a bunch of things. And, Batum, he started, making a couple shots, made a couple plays. I'm like, oh, my God, are we going to do this all over again? Because what's his face? Did Dunn even play? Did Dunn get on the court?
Done
a little bit.
16 minutes, but he barely played. He scored 3 more points than you and I did.
Right. So Ty Lue's like tweaking his starting lineup, tweaking his rotation. I mean, I'll give him credit. It was his birthday today, by the way, too.
Oh, happy birthday, Ty Lue. I'm glad the Nuggets could give you the present that they just did.
And now Ty Lue is now 4-1 in Game 7.
Okay, so at least one of those streaks ended.
But Pete DeBoer is a staggering 9-0.
That is insane. That's no longer just like a freak sort of thing. There's something going on there.
There's some way he
clearly
prepares his teams to succeed in that situation. You got to give him credit. And the Avalanche, which is sad, are 0 for 7 in their last Game 7.
And McKinnon's 0 and 5 in his career in Game 7s. 0 for 5.
Hard truths. Hard truths.
Yep. All right, DMAC, I'll let you go, man. Great stuff. Thank you so much for coming on.
You got it.
All right, there he is, Darren McKee, doing yeoman's work down at the Nuggets locker room. As they get the 120-101 victory, they advance to round 2 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. That game 1 in OKC, Monday night, 7:30 tip-off for Nuggets and Thunder. We will have pregame coverage for you right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. And, of course, we will have our In the Paint post-game show with myself, Dan Tanner, and a plethora of your favorite hosts there at Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Signing off until Monday for Game 1. Nuggets, Thunder, thank you so much for listening to In the Paint right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5.